Today, a story of a slow creature and a social media teacher. First, the unlikely mass smuggling of a reptile, followed by scams that are only one click away. My name is Randy Nelson, and in my 35-year career as a fishery officer, I became known as the best investigator in British Columbia.
Just leave him out here to rot.
As a best-selling author, I've contacted hundreds of wardens from all over North America to hear their tales.
Fish and wildlife here. Oh, look at there. We have a warrant to search your premises. There's spotlight.
These are their case files.
Game warden, put your guns on the ground.
Officer down.
You're under arrest.
Carlos, as a game warden in Oklahoma, it's probably like many places. We have so many different animals to look at, and we get caught up in what's the obvious things. And you have a case involving something nobody ever thinks about in the world of poaching.
We've become programmed to focus on the bigger things, you know, the bears, the deer, the elk, the moose, the fish, the birds, whatever species, game species, things like that. But and we work with the feds a lot on different investigations whenever they come to us and say, hey, we've got this going on. There's usually 1 or 2 feds per state. Yes. So they've got to employ the help of the state wardens to be on the watch for things and to try to help collect and gather some of this information. Well, our captains across the state have a meeting once a month, and at the monthly meeting at headquarters, they were met by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife agent, where he had the opportunity to sit with them and explain a new investigation they were concerned about that had to do with the poaching and marketing enterprise of box turtles.
Box turtles?
Yes.
Like the ones people keep as pets?
Yes. There's actually a large case involving multiple individuals who are capturing, marketing, and illegally selling box turtles across seas. The feds need our help in locating the key players. Gomez, you've got the lead on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Emery, okay.
Well, this is unusual.
So, we're supposed to be on the lookout for turtle activity. What does that even look like?
I have no idea.
When our captains came back to us and told us to be on the lookout for turtle activity, you know, quite honestly, I think a lot of the wardens all looked at each other and rolled their eyes. Right. You know, we just kind of shrugged and thought, hey, this doesn't sound like big cases, and this doesn't sound like, you know, big poaching operation kind of stuff. So I think it kind of laid quiet for a while.
Right. Nobody took it really that seriously, is what
well,
you're saying.
and what do you do? Yeah. How do you patrol for that? How do you investigate that?
Very slowly.
You know? Yeah, very slowly. I like that. We didn't see or know of anything related to turtle activity, but little by little, things started happening. I'm in a metropolitan area there in Oklahoma, and there was FedEx and UPS shipping facilities there, hubs.
Yeah.
And I got a call or two in the coming months from some employee that would kind of get in trouble because they stopped the assembly line of boxes to call the game warden on their cell phone and say, hey, somebody's shipping turtles out of a box here. That's not right. We'd then have to get a search warrant and go to the house of who shipped the turtles and try to find out where they got them, why they got them, and so on. So we had these little things popping up, just a few, a couple, 3, popping up there in the Tulsa area. And that kind of raised my awareness, you know, in the Tulsa area, where I think a lot of my other fellow wardens in the more rural parts of the state still weren't seeing or hearing anything.
You're finding people that are gathering these illegally and then transporting
and shipping them to somebody.
Somebody. So
somebody, usually out of state somewhere.
Okay, you're getting these pieces that's starting to make a puzzle come together.
And it was just kind of maybe the very tip of the iceberg. It was a phone call from the manager of the motel, and she said, you know, she was asking, as she always does, the folks renting her rooms, you know, about cleaning the rooms and so on. And this particular individual had 2 rooms rented. He had been there for a week, and so she was checking in with him about cleaning the room.
This is it for the day.
Sounds good.
Whoa, hey, no, we're good. We don't need a cleaner.
Okay, so no services tomorrow?
No, nope. Not the whole week we're here.
So marking it down for no services at all.
Thanks.
That kind of piqued her curiosity, and at one point she peeked into the room when she knew he was gone. And she could see all of these tubs, and the tubs had air holes in them.
Yeah.
And she could hear something moving around in those tubs.
Yeah.
And I think she could see turtles in one tub right there.
Right.
So she knew something was up with some turtles. She didn't know what to do. She called me.
Hey, Gomez, I have a possible hit on some turtle activity. Lady on line 2 wants to talk to you.
This is Gomez.
Hi, I'm down at the Thunderbird Motel, and I have had 2 parties, very suspicious for multiple days, and I actually got to go in one of them, and there is multiple bins, I believe, of turtles.
And are both parties still present?
No, one just left in a vehicle.
And the other party? He's still present?
Yes, I believe he's still in his room watching TV.
And approximately how long ago would you say the first individual left in the van?
About 5-10 minutes ago.
All right, man. I'm gonna need you to just hang tight. My partner and I are on our way. Good. Thank you.
So we just staked out the motel. I kind of give these guys an idea of kind of what we're going to try to do. A game plan is, you know, hopefully they come back. We're going to intercept, and we're going to interview them and see what we got.
And so you have surveillance set up on this place, and what do you learn?
We were there for a couple of hours, and eventually I saw a man come in. He went in that room. I saw some people go into that room.
I'll do the talking.
Game warden, open up.
Hi. What's going on?
Well, we got a call that there's an unusual amount of turtles in this room. And I can now see them behind you.
Yeah, we've been collecting them.
This is way more than just collecting. Can we come in and take a look?
Yeah, sure. Come on in.
The gentleman was very cooperative at that point. He knew we knew that he had turtles, and we needed to ask him some things about that.
Why do you think he would be cooperative?
Well, I think he was cooperative, as it turns out, that he had been encountered by game wardens in multiple states.
Okay.
He'd been encountered in, and maybe I shouldn't name those states, but all they did was give him a misdemeanor citation, a wildlife citation for having turtles. You can't have this many turtles. Here's your ticket.
Right.
And he'd pay a couple $100 and go on down the road.
Cost of doing business.
Cost of doing business, making thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So I think he probably anticipated he was just going to get a ticket at most on that, and the game wardens would go off chasing deer poachers and fish poachers and not pay attention to them.
Have a seat for me on this bench right here, sir.
Anybody else in the room?
No.
Start counting them.
Well, there's so many. There's well over 100 here.
That's nothing. I shipped out over 250 of them just yesterday.
He had a receipt for 250 he had shipped the day before.
Wow.
So, you know, we drive roads in the rural parts of our state, and it's nothing to see a turtle crossing the highway or see a turtle on the county road. But you stop and think, 250, where does a guy get 250 turtles?
That's a lot.
So what, as it came to light, what he was doing was this group of people that was staying in the other motel were friends of his from the nearby state of Arkansas. And he would take them and pay them $5 per turtle.
Okay.
So $5 per turtle, they would all disperse in cars.
Yeah.
And they would go about the roads, and they knew to travel early morning when turtles were on the move. And they would collect these turtles and just put them in a Tupperware tub in the back seat. He had just shipped 250. He had 180 some right there. I think he was trying to get around 200 before he was going to make another shipment. That had just been in a day.
I don't understand. Who are you shipping these to? And why?
I have a contact up in New Jersey. I haven't met him, but he gives me good money per turtle, so I ship him up to him.
What's the name of your contact?
He's letting me know that this gentleman in New Jersey is who he's shipping them to, and showed me his phone. Hey, here's the guy. And he said, well, I get $25 per turtle.
Wow, so he's 5 times as...
He's paying $5 to his help to collect, and he's getting $25 per. And so he's shipping those off to New Jersey. And so, you know, I notified the feds, and we ended up seizing 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
And tubs and tubs of turtles. I mean, the back of a game warden truck was stacked full with ratchet straps, holding in all these tubs of turtles. And he didn't know what was being done with them. He believed they were being shipped to the West Coast, and that this other guy was selling them too.
Okay.
And it would later come to light that the New Jersey guy was selling them for anywhere from $100 to $500.
Wow.
And per turtle. And they were ending up in China, and the more ornate turtles would go from $5,000 to $10,000.
Holy smoke.
It was kind of some kind of a symbol that's used by a lot of the wealthy folks over there.
So this is a big industry. This isn't just a $5 turtle we're talking now. It's worth $100 to $2,000.
You know,
so what do you do with the turtles?
so it was important that we kept them alive and kept them healthy. And, you know, I hadn't even thought through that part yet, but my wife got involved with her daughter, and we had kind of a little enclosure fire pit area at our house. We sprinkled the produce everywhere, and it was amazing how these turtles had to have been starving the way they just aggressively attacked this fruit and vegetables. And it was entertaining for everybody to watch all these turtles just going like all over the place, eating and diving in. Strawberries are their favorite. And they just, you know, obviously nourished themselves quite well. And then it became a rodeo, just trying to figure out how to keep them contained. But eventually the feds did take those turtles and put their plan together.
And the plan was to use these live turtles to catch somebody further up.
They actually come up with a plan to use invisible ink to mark the turtles.
Yeah.
And so they had a way to make a connection with the Oklahoma turtles in New Jersey.
Yes.
They had stakeout, had New Jersey Fish and Game officers and federal agents watching this FedEx location. They had the boxes marked. And sure enough, here come these folks, a number of folks that came and collected their boxes and took those boxes, and they were trailed back to their residence. And
so that group of people now was charged?
So the wrap up to this deal was the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service prosecuted the New Jersey folks in federal court in the Tulsa district, and they were required to come back to Tulsa. And they were ordered to pay $200,000, and that was a record for our state, for a restitution for the turtles taken from the state, and $100,000 additionally for investigative expenses to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for the cost of their investigation. And the local folks from Arkansas there that were at the motel, the main gentleman there was ordered to pay a $10,000 fine in state court in that county. And it was just a misdemeanor citation to the folks that were collecting the turtles with him. They didn't get anything real harsh, but he paid $10,000 for organizing that.
Those are some large finds that people wouldn't associate with turtles, but credit to you and the officers for taking it on and getting to the bottom of it, and special credit to the hotel staff who reported this incident in the first place.
Yeah.
Without them starting it, you wouldn't have had anything.
You know, game wardens know, and you know this, game wardens are just absolutely one drop in the ocean without the help of the citizens.